My name is Nana May. I am 74 years old, and the first warning came in a phone call I almost ignored. The phone rang at 6:12 a.m. Too early. That kind of early that only brings bad news. I was already awake. Old age does that to you. Sleep becomes shallow. Memories get loud. The past taps you on the shoulder when the world is quiet. The phone rang again. I stared at it. My hands were shaking before I even touched it. I don't know why. Maybe my heart already knew. I answered. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Heavy. Uneven. Hello. I said again, my voice thin. Nana, it's me. It was my sister-in-law, Martha. We hadn't spoken in years. Not since the funeral. Not since she looked at me like I was something she scraped off her shoe. Martha. I whispered. Is something wrong? She didn't answer right away. I could hear a television in the background. Morning news. A kettle boiling. Normal sounds. Ordinary life. But her breathing was wrong. Nana, she said slowly. I didn't want to call you. My stomach dropped. Then why did you? I asked. Another pause. Then the words that cracked my life clean in half. I saw your son last night. I sat up straight in bed. My son. I repeated. Daniel. Yes. My heart began to pound. Daniel was my youngest. My baby. The one who kissed my forehead every Sunday. The one who told me, Mama, you don't need to worry anymore. I've got everything under control. What about him? I asked. Martha swallowed. He didn't see me, she said. But Nana, he was doing something strange. I laughed. I actually laughed. Oh, Martha, I said gently. Daniel works late. He's always running around. You must be mistaken. I wasn't, she said quickly. I followed him. That made my smile disappear. You what? I followed him, she repeated. Because he lied. The room felt colder. He told everyone he was working overnight. But I saw him parked behind the old warehouse near the river. My mouth went dry. That place is abandoned, I said. I know. Silence hung between us. Then she said the sentence I still hear in my nightmares. Nana, your son is hiding something. And I think it's bad. My hands tightened around the phone. Don't say that, I snapped. You don't know my son. I know what I saw. You've always hated Daniel, I said. Ever since. This isn't about the past, she interrupted. This is about now. I wouldn't call you if it wasn't serious. I swung my legs off the bed. My knees hurt. My chest hurt. What did you see? I asked quietly. She lowered her voice. He met someone. A woman. Much younger. And then two men. Not family. Not friends. Business partners, I said quickly. Daniel does consulting. Nana, she said sharply. They handed him a bag. A heavy one. And he looked around like he was afraid. I felt dizzy. That's enough, I said. You're imagining things. I need say that. Because you're wrong. She sighed. I hope so, she said. For your sake. Then she hung up. The line went dead. I sat there in silence, the phone still pressed to my ear. My heart was racing. No, I whispered to the empty room. Not my Daniel. I got up slowly and walked to the window. The street outside was waking up. Birds. A dog barking. A man jogging past like the world was normal. But mine wasn't. I tried to shake it off. Martha is bitter, I told myself. She's always been dramatic. Daniel had a good job. A wife. 2 children. He was a good son. Wasn't he? I made tea. My hand spilled sugar on the counter. I didn't clean it. I sat at the table and stared at the clock. 6:47 a.m. My mind kept replaying her words. He lied. He looked afraid. He's hiding something. I picked up my phone and called Daniel. It rang. Once. Twice. 3 times. Voicemail. Hey, Mama, his cheerful voice said. I'm probably working. I'll call you back. Working. I felt something twist in my chest. I tried again. Voicemail. I stared at the phone. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I put on my coat. I grabbed my purse. And I went outside. I didn't know where I was going. Only that I couldn't sit still. I walked to the bus stop. The cold air burned my lungs. My reflection in the glass looked older than I felt. White hair. Deep lines. A woman who had seen too much and trusted too easily. On the bus, I watched people scroll on their phones, laugh softly, sip coffee. I wanted to scream. I got off near Daniel's office. The building was quiet. Too quiet. His car wasn't there. My stomach tightened. I walked around the block. That's when I saw it. A familiar blue sedan. Daniel's. Parked 2 streets away. My heart began to race. Why wouldn't he park at work? I stood there, frozen. Then I heard his voice. Laughing. I turned. Daniel stepped out of a cafe. But he wasn't alone. A young woman followed him. Very young. She touched his arm. He leaned in close. Too close. I felt like I'd been slapped. That's not right, I whispered. They didn't see me. They crossed the street together. And then something happened that made my blood run cold. Daniel looked around. Carefully. Nervously. The same way Martha described. Then he pulled his collar up and said something I couldn't hear. The woman nodded. They walked faster. I stayed behind, my heart pounding. Don't follow him, my mind screamed. But my feet moved on their own. I followed my son. Down streets I'd never walked. Past boarded-up shops. Toward the river. Toward the abandoned warehouse. My chest felt tight. My breath came fast. This is ridiculous, I whispered. I'm an old woman spying on her own child. But I didn't stop. I hid behind a parked truck. Daniel stopped near the warehouse doors. The woman stayed back. Then a black SUV pulled up. 2 men got out. Big. Serious. One of them handed Daniel a bag. My heart nearly stopped. Daniel took it. Looked inside. Then nodded. I felt sick. What are you doing, my son? I whispered. Suddenly, Daniel turned his head. For a second, I thought he saw me. My heart slammed against my ribs. He scanned the area. His eyes passed right over me. Then he said something sharp to the men. They laughed. And that laugh, it didn't sound good. It sounded dangerous. I backed away slowly. My legs were weak. I turned and walked as fast as I could. By the time I reached the bus stop, my hands were numb. I sat down hard on the bench. Tears filled my eyes. No, I whispered. Please, God. Not him. My phone vibrated. A message. From Daniel. Mama, sorry I missed your call. I was in meetings all night. I'll come see you Sunday. Meetings. I stared at the screen. The lie sat there, calm and casual. My son had lied to me. Straight to my face. My chest hurt. My hand shook. I wiped my tears and stood up. I made a decision then. A dangerous one. I wouldn't confront him. Not yet. I wouldn't accuse him. I would do something worse. I would watch him. Quietly. Carefully. Because whatever my son was hiding, it was big. And I had a terrible feeling. I was only at the beginning. The truth has a cruel sense of timing, and it chose my granddaughter's wedding day. The church bells rang too loudly. Each chime felt like a warning, like time pounding on my chest. I sat in the front pew, hands folded tightly in my lap, my knees pressed together, my back straight like I was holding myself up with willpower alone. White flowers everywhere. Lilies, roses, baby's breath, pure things. Things that didn't belong with the heaviness inside me. Smile, Nana, my sister whispered. You look like someone died. I forced my lips upward. If only she knew. Across the aisle, Daniel sat with his wife, Claire. My son, my beautiful boy, his hair neatly combed, his suit perfectly tailored. The same suit he wore when he told me he worked all night. The same night I saw him by the warehouse. My stomach twisted. Claire leaned into him and whispered something. Daniel smiled. That smile. The one I used to kiss when he was 5. I looked away. My heart was pounding too fast. You okay, Mom? Daniel asked, turning toward me. His eyes met mine. For a moment, just a moment, I saw something flicker there. Fear? Guilt? I swallowed. I'm fine, I said. Just tired. He nodded slowly. You should rest after the ceremony, he said. It's a long day. So caring. So convincing. The music swelled. The bride, my granddaughter, Emily, walked down the aisle. She was radiant, hopeful, blind to everything beneath the surface. I felt tears sting my eyes. If only love was enough to protect you, I thought. As the vows began, My phone vibrated in my purse. Once. Twice. I ignored it. Then it vibrated again. Relentless. My heart skipped. I quietly opened my purse and glanced at the screen. Unknown number. I declined the call. It rang again. My chest tightened. I stood slowly, careful not to draw attention, and slipped out of the pew. The hallway was quiet. Cold. I answered. Hello. Nana May, a woman said softly. I'm sorry to bother you today, but I think you need to know something. My blood ran cold. Who is this? I whispered. My name doesn't matter, she said. What matters is your son. My legs went weak. I'm at a wedding, I said sharply. This isn't appropriate. I know, she replied. That's why I called now. I leaned against the wall. What do you want? I asked. She inhaled slowly. I was with Daniel last night. The world tilted. With my son? I whispered. Yes. I squeezed my eyes shut. You're lying, I said. He was working. She laughed softly. No, she said. He was with me. My hand shook violently. Who are you? I demanded. Someone you don't know, she replied. But someone who knows the truth. My heart slammed against my ribs. Listen carefully, Nana, she said. Your son isn't just lying to you. He's lying to everyone. The church doors opened behind me. Music spilled into the hall. Applause. The ceremony was ending. I can't talk, I said. Whatever this is. He's not who you think he is, she interrupted. And today you're about to see proof. The line went dead. I stood there, frozen. My phone slipped from my fingers and hit the floor. I bent down slowly, my breath shallow. Not today, I prayed. Please, not today. I returned to the sanctuary just as the guests stood to cheer. Emily and her new husband kissed. Everyone clapped. Everyone smiled. Everyone except me. Daniel caught my eye again. This time, his smile faltered. Mom, he mouthed. I looked away. At the reception hall, the lights were bright. Too bright. Music played. Glasses clinked. Laughter bounced off the walls. I sat at my table, untouched food in front of me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. Drink something, Claire said kindly, handing me a glass of water. You look pale. Thank you, I whispered. She smiled. She's lucky to have you, she said. You raised a wonderful man. The words cut like a knife. Before I could answer, I saw her. The young woman from the cafe, standing near the bar. Her hair curled. Her dress red. My heart dropped. She wasn't family. She wasn't a friend. She was watching Daniel. Daniel noticed her. His face drained of color. What's wrong? Claire asked him. Nothing, he said quickly. I'll be right back. He stood and walked toward the woman. My hands trembled. I stood too. Slowly, carefully. I followed. They stood near the exit. Close. Too close. You shouldn't be here, Daniel hissed. She smirked. You didn't say that last night. My chest felt like it was caving in. Leave, he said. You promised, she replied. And I'm done waiting. He looked around nervously. Then his eyes landed on me. My heart stopped. Mom, he said sharply. What are you doing here? I stepped closer. My voice barely worked. Who is she, Daniel? The woman turned to me. She smiled. Polite. Deadly. You must be Nana May, she said. I've heard so much about you. Claire appeared behind us. Daniel, she asked. What's going on? The room felt like it was spinning. Daniel opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I can explain, he said. That would be good, I whispered. Because I'm done guessing. The woman crossed her arms. Your son has been living two lives, she said calmly. And I'm tired of being the secret. Gasps rippled around us. People were watching now. Claire's face went white. Daniel, she whispered. Is this true? He looked at me, then at his wife, then at the woman. And for the first time in his life, my son looked small. I didn't want it to happen like this, he said. I felt something inside me break. Like what? I asked. At your daughter's wedding? The woman leaned in. Oh, Nana, she said softly. This is just the beginning. I stared at my son, at the lies in his eyes, at the fear, at the stranger he had become, and I realized something horrifying. The call, the warehouse, the bag, the woman, they were all connected, and whatever Daniel was hiding, It was about to tear this family apart. Families don't explode all at once, they crack slowly, quietly, until one day the truth can't be contained anymore. The music stopped. Not officially, but someone turned it down. Too many eyes were on us now. Whispers slid across the room like knives. What's happening? Is that Daniel? Who's that woman? Claire stood frozen beside my son. Her hand hovered in the air, unsure whether to touch him or pull away. Daniel, she said again, softer this time. Tell me she's lying. My son's mouth opened. No words came out. That silence told me everything. I felt my legs weaken. I grabbed the back of a chair to steady myself. The young woman tilted her head, studying Claire with something close to pity. He didn't tell you about me, she said gently. I wondered how long he'd keep pretending. Claire's eyes filled with tears. Pretending what? She whispered. Daniel finally spoke. Let's talk somewhere private, he said quickly. Please. Private. I snapped. My voice surprised even me. How private has your life been, Daniel? The woman smiled faintly. You should listen to your mother, she said. Secrets rot when they stay hidden. Claire turned to me, her face pleading. Nana, what is she talking about? I swallowed hard. I don't know everything, I said. But I know my son has been lying. Daniel flinched. Mama. Don't, I said sharply. Not now. Emily's wedding coordinator rushed over, flustered. Is everything all right? She asked nervously. Daniel forced a smile. Yes, he said. Just a misunderstanding. The woman laughed. Oh no, she said. This is no misunderstanding. People were openly staring now. Phones were coming out. I saw Emily across the room, laughing with her husband, unaware. My heart ached. Enough, I said. Daniel, you will not ruin her day any further. I turned to the woman. Who are you? I asked quietly. And why are you here? She studied me for a long moment. Then she sighed. My name is Lena, she said. And I didn't plan to come. But your son stopped answering my calls. Daniel's jaw tightened. You promised you wouldn't do this, he said. You promised me a lot of things, she replied. Claire staggered back like she'd been slapped. You promised her, she whispered. Daniel reached for her. She recoiled. Don't touch me. The room went silent. My heart felt like it was tearing in two. Claire, I said softly. Let's sit down. She shook her head. No, she said. I want the truth. Right now. Lena crossed her arms. You deserve it, she said. You've been living in a lie. Daniel looked around helplessly. Mama, he said under his breath. Please, help me. Help him? After all this? I took a deep breath. Daniel, I said slowly, you will speak. Or I will. His eyes widened. You don't know. I know enough, I said. He lowered his head. I never meant for it to go this far, he muttered. Lena scoffed. It always goes this far. Claire's voice shook. How long? She asked. Daniel hesitated. Lena answered for him. 2 years. Claire gasped. 2 years. My hands trembled. You were lying to your wife for 2 years. I whispered. Daniel's voice cracked. I was trying to stop, he said. I swear. Claire laughed bitterly. When? She asked. Between meetings? Overnight work trips? My chest tightened. Daniel, I said. Is that why you were at the warehouse? His head snapped up. What? You heard me, I said. I saw you. By the river. The color drained from his face. You followed me, he asked. Yes, I said. Because someone warned me. Lena frowned. Someone else knows? I ignored her. What were you doing there? I demanded. Daniel swallowed. It's complicated. Claire shook her head. Everything is complicated with you, she said. I feel like I don't even know who I married. Her words broke something in me. This was my fault too. I raised him. I trusted him. I believed him. Lena stepped closer. Claire, she said, I didn't know he was married at first. Daniel winced. But you stayed, Claire said coldly. Yes, Lena replied. Because when I found out, it was already too late. For what? I asked. She looked at me, then at Daniel, then back at me. For all of us. The way she said it made my skin crawl. What does that mean? I asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she reached into her purse. Daniel lunged forward. Don't. She pulled out her phone. I have messages, she said. Emails. Recordings. My heart pounded. Of what? Claire whispered. Lena smiled sadly. Of Daniel, she said, and of things that go far beyond an affair. Daniel snapped. You promised you'd keep quiet. I promised I'd protect myself, she shot back. I felt dizzy. Daniel, I said, what else aren't you telling us? He rubbed his face. I can't, he said. Not here. Then where? Claire demanded. At home, he said. Tonight. Lena laughed softly. You think this ends tonight? She asked. This has been building for years. Years. My knees nearly gave out. I sat down hard on a chair. Years of what? I whispered. Daniel looked at me, eyes full of something I didn't recognize. Fear. Real fear. Mom, he said quietly. There are things you don't want to know. I shook my head. There is nothing worse than ignorance, I said. He opened his mouth to respond. And then someone screamed. Emily. The bride stood near the dance floor, her face pale. She was holding her phone. Her hands were shaking. Why am I getting messages about my father? She asked. My heart stopped. What messages? Daniel asked sharply. Emily looked at him. Tears streamed down her face. They're saying you're cheating. That you're involved in something illegal. That my wedding is a lie. The room erupted. Claire covered her mouth. Lena closed her eyes. Daniel swore under his breath. I stood up, my chest tight. This has gone far enough, I said. But it was already too late. The secrets weren't staying inside this family anymore. They were spilling out. Public. Ugly. Permanent. Emily looked at me, broken. Nana, she sobbed. Is this true? I opened my mouth. No words came. Daniel stepped forward. Emily, he said. I can explain. She slapped him. The sound echoed through the hall. Gasps everywhere. I trusted you, she cried. You ruined my day. Daniel stood frozen. I felt tears stream down my face. This is my fault, I whispered. Lena shook her head. No, she said. This was inevitable. She looked at Daniel. You should have told her about the other thing. Claire turned sharply. The other thing, she repeated. Daniel's face went white. Stop, he said. Lena met my eyes. Nana, she said softly. Your son isn't just cheating. My heart hammered. Then what is he doing? I asked. She leaned closer. He's involved in something that could destroy this entire family. The room spun. What? Claire whispered. Lena's voice dropped. Money. People. Deals that don't exist on paper. Daniel shouted. Enough. Too loud. Too desperate. I stared at my son. At the stranger he had become. At the secrets poisoning everything he touched. And I knew. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about danger. Real danger. Betrayal doesn't always come screaming. Sometimes it whispers your name and smiles while it cuts you open. The wedding hall never recovered. Music tried to restart, but it sounded wrong. Forced. Like laughter at a funeral. Emily disappeared into a back room, sobbing. Her husband followed, stunned and silent. Guests pretended not to stare while staring anyway. Phones were already out. The damage was spreading faster than fire. I stood there, shaking. My son stood in front of me. And for the first time in my life, I was afraid of him. Everyone needs to leave, Daniel said loudly, trying to regain control. This is a family matter. A family matter? Claire laughed bitterly. You brought your secrets into public, Daniel. Don't pretend you're protecting anyone now. Lena leaned against a pillar, calm. Too calm. You can't control this anymore, she said. That's what happens when lies pile up. Daniel turned on her. You promised me, he hissed. You said you'd wait. I waited, she replied. 2 years. And you kept lying. I felt dizzy. Daniel, I said softly. What exactly have you dragged us into? He looked at me. Really looked at me. And I saw it. Not guilt. Not shame. Fear. Real fear. Mama, he whispered, you shouldn't have followed me. My blood ran cold. So you knew, I said. You knew I was watching. He closed his eyes. I suspected. My knees weakened. You let me walk into this? I asked. You let your own mother get pulled into your mess? Claire stared at him in disbelief. You endangered her too, she asked. I was trying to keep everyone safe, Daniel snapped. Lena laughed sharply. By lying to everyone? I raised my hand. Enough, I said. My voice shook, but it carried. Daniel, you will answer me. Right now. No more half-truths. He hesitated, then nodded. Not here, he said. At home. All of us. Lena tilted her head. And me. Yes, he said reluctantly. You too. Claire crossed her arms. I'm not going anywhere alone with him, she said. I'll come, I said. Daniel looked at me, alarmed. Mama. I said I'll come, I repeated. You don't get to decide anymore. The drive to Daniel's house felt endless. No one spoke. Claire sat in the front seat, staring straight ahead, jaw clenched. Lena sat in the back with me. Too close. She smelled like expensive perfume and secrets. You're stronger than you look, she said quietly. I didn't look at her. You're not as honest as you pretend, I replied. She smiled faintly. Maybe, she said. But I'm done being invisible. Daniel's hands shook on the steering wheel. We reached the house, the place where I'd celebrated birthdays, where I'd held my grandchildren, where I thought my son was safe. The front door closed behind us with a heavy click. Claire stood near the window. I want the truth, she said. All of it. Daniel loosened his tie. His face looked older now. Worn. 2 years ago, he began, I made a mistake. Lena snorted. A choice, she corrected. He ignored her. I was desperate, he continued. Money problems. Pressure. I thought I could fix everything. My heart sank. What kind of money problems? I asked. He swallowed. I borrowed from the wrong people. Claire turned sharply. You told me we were fine. I was trying to protect you. Lena laughed again. That word, she said. You love it. Daniel glared at her. You don't know everything. Oh, I know enough, she replied. I know about the warehouse, the deliveries, the cash. My chest tightened. Cash, I repeated. Daniel nodded slowly. I move things, he said, for people who don't want to be seen. I felt sick. What things? I whispered. He didn't answer. Claire's voice broke. Daniel, are you a criminal? He flinched. I never hurt anyone, he said quickly. That's not an answer, she said. Lena stepped forward. He launders money, she said calmly. And sometimes he moves more than money. I gasped. My hand flew to my chest. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Daniel exploded. Stop, he shouted. You promised. You promised me freedom, Lena snapped back. You promised we'd leave this behind. Claire stared between them. You were planning to leave, she asked. Silence. That silence was the betrayal. Claire laughed. A hollow, broken sound. You were going to abandon us, she said. Your children. Daniel reached for her. I was going to take them eventually. She slapped his hand away. Don't you dare. I felt tears stream down my face. My son, I whispered. What have you done? He collapsed onto the couch. I thought I could control it, he said. I thought I could stop any time. Lena's voice softened. They don't let you stop. I looked at her sharply. What do you mean? She hesitated, then spoke. The men you met at the warehouse, she said. They're watching him. Always. My heart began to race. Watching how? She met my eyes. Threats, she said. Messages. Sometimes worse. Claire whispered. Worse than threats. Lena nodded. They know where your grandchildren go to school. The room went silent. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Daniel buried his face in his hands. They told me if I stopped, they'd come after my family. I stood up. My legs trembled. You betrayed us, I said quietly. But you also endangered us. He looked up, eyes red. I was trying to keep you safe. You don't keep people safe by dragging them into darkness, I said. A knock echoed through the house. Sharp. Unexpected. Everyone froze. Another knock. Slow. Deliberate. Daniel's face drained of color. They found me, he whispered. Claire clutched my arm. Who is that? Lena stepped back. They don't knock unless they want something. The knock came again. Louder. Daniel stood. I'll handle it. No, I said firmly. You've handled enough. I walked toward the door. Nana. Daniel hissed. Don't. I ignored him. My heart pounded in my ears. I opened the door. A man stood there. Tall. Calm. Smiling without warmth. Mrs. May, he said politely. We need to talk about your son. My blood ran cold. How do you know my name? I asked. He smiled wider. We know a lot of things. Behind him, another car idled. dark windows. I felt the weight of every secret pressing down on me. This was no longer just betrayal. This was a trap, and my family was standing right in the middle of it. Confrontation doesn't always mean yelling. Sometimes, it's silence that screams the loudest. The man at the door didn't move. Calm, polished, terrifying. Behind him, the SUV idled, dark and ominous. Two more figures stepped out, faces shadowed by hats and sunglasses. I felt my knees weaken. "Mrs. May," the man said again, voice smooth, controlled, "we need to discuss your son." Now. I swallowed hard. My hand trembled as it hovered over the doorframe. "Discuss what?" "Your son owes certain favors," he said, his tone casual, almost polite. "And we are here to collect." I took a step back. Favors? Daniel. Daniel was crouched behind the sofa. His hands trembled. His face was pale. "Mama, please." I ignored him. I couldn't. Not anymore. "Collect? For what?" "He's my son," I shouted. My voice cracked. "He's a good boy. You can't threaten him." The man tilted his head. "Good and obedient are not always the same thing, Mrs. May." He made choices. Choices that affect everyone around him. Claire was shaking. "Everyone? Our children? What are you talking about?" The second man stepped forward. He didn't speak. He just stared, letting the weight of his silence speak. I looked at my son. His eyes met mine. Wide, desperate, guilty. I had loved this boy, trusted him, protected him. And now, I didn't even know him. I turned back to the men. "You come to my house, my family, my grandchildren, and threaten us. And you expect what?" The first man smiled, thin, without warmth. "We expect cooperation." Cooperation. That word. It made my stomach churn. "What do you want?" I demanded. My voice rose. "Tell me what you want from my son, from my family." Daniel finally stood, voice shaking but defiant. "They can't have anything. We." The second man raised his hand. A warning. Daniel froze. "Daniel," the first man said, calm now, almost fatherly in tone, "you've hidden well. But every secret has a cost." I felt tears stream down my face. "Daniel, tell me what's happening." He shook his head. "Mama, I can't." "Then I'll find out myself," I said, my voice hard. "No one threatens my family and hides behind lies." The men laughed softly. The sound echoed in the room. "You're brave," the first man said, "but bravery can be expensive." I took a deep breath. "We don't have to do this. Whatever it is, we can fix it." "We can." "Fix it," he interrupted. "Oh, Mrs. May, some things cannot be fixed. Only paid for." Claire clutched my arm. "Mama, what does he mean?" I shook my head, feeling like the ground beneath me was cracking. Daniel stepped forward. "Mama." "Claire, stay back. Please. You don't understand what's happening." "No," I said firmly. "I understand enough. You don't get to protect yourself by hiding us in the dark anymore." The man's eyes narrowed. "Bold woman. Very well. Let's see how much you truly know about your son." From his jacket, he pulled out a small device. A tablet. He tapped it. A screen lit up, showing images, video clips, messages. Daniel froze. His face went white. Lena stepped forward. "This is what I warned you about," she said softly. I gasped. The screen showed Daniel handing off packages. The warehouse. Men exchanging cash. Faces I didn't recognize. Daniel stepped in front of me. "Mama, I can explain." I shook my head. "No, not here. Not like this." Claire gasped. "Daniel, is this true?" He didn't answer. "Do you see?" the first man said, gesturing to the screen. "We told you we expect cooperation. You refuse. Now everyone will see." The images continued to flash. Daniel meeting unknown men, taking envelopes, signing papers. Every clip screamed betrayal. I sank into a chair. My hands flew to my face. My own son. My baby. My family involved in something I couldn't even name. "Daniel," I shouted. "How could you? Why didn't you tell me?" He shook his head violently. "I wanted to protect you. Protect everyone." "Protect?" I screamed. "You endangered us." The second man leaned forward. Mrs. May, cooperation isn't optional anymore. There are consequences. I could see it in their eyes. Calm, measured, but deadly. Daniel's shoulders slumped. Defeat, shame, fear, all at once. I realized something horrifying. These men didn't care about love. They didn't care about family. They cared about one thing: control. I wiped tears from my eyes. You want control? You want fear? You picked the wrong family. The first man smiled thinly. Bold words. Let's see how long they last. The knock came again. Louder. Relentless. I could hear it echo through the house. Daniel froze. They're not just here for me, he whispered. Not just here. Claire asked. No, he said. They're here for all of us. My hands trembled. My chest tightened. I realized the terrible truth. Confrontation had arrived. Not just with words, not just with threats, but with power. Real danger. And we were unprepared. Truth has a way of hiding in plain sight, until the walls close in and there's nowhere left to run. The night had fallen like a heavy curtain over our house. Darkness pressed against the windows. The air smelled of cold rain and fear. I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to. I sat on the edge of my bed, hands clasped, heart pounding. The confrontation earlier, it had left a permanent chill in my bones. Daniel was in the living room, pacing. His phone buzzed constantly. Messages, missed calls, alerts I couldn't read. Each beep felt like a countdown. Claire sat on the couch, her face pale, hands gripping her knees. I can't believe this, she whispered. I married him. And now. She trailed off, voice breaking. I swallowed hard. Claire, none of this is your fault. Not yet. But we need to know the truth. Daniel stopped pacing and turned to us. Mama, Claire, you can't imagine the lengths I had to go to keep this family safe. Safe. Claire's voice rose. From what? You've dragged everyone into this mess. Lena, sitting quietly in the corner, finally spoke. He's telling you the truth now. Or part of it. But even this, she gestured to the devices scattered on the coffee table, is only scratching the surface. I felt my chest tighten. Lena, I said quietly, you've been with him this whole time? She nodded slowly. I've tried to stop him, warn him, but he didn't listen. I looked at Daniel. Why didn't you tell me? I couldn't, he said, his voice breaking. If I told Claire, the people I work with, they would have come for all of us. I blinked. People? Daniel, what are you talking about? He ran his hands through his hair. I've been involved with dangerous men. They have influence, power. They don't forgive mistakes. Claire gasped. Daniel, how dangerous? The kind that can ruin lives in an instant, Lena said calmly. They control everything, from money to people. And your son, he's been trying to navigate it without losing us. I felt sick. So all this, the warehouse, the packages, the meetings, the lies, I whispered. It wasn't just about money. No, Daniel said quietly. It was about protection. I wanted to shield all of you. And how did that work out? Claire snapped. You lied to everyone, endangered your family, humiliated us at my daughter's wedding. Emily's name hit me like a punch. My heart ached. My granddaughter, innocent, caught in the middle. I know, Daniel said. I know I failed. I looked at him. My son. My baby. The man I had raised with hope and love. And now, I barely recognized him. Tell me everything, I said. My voice was cold, steady. No more lies. No more hiding. He nodded, sinking into a chair. It started 2 years ago. I was desperate. I borrowed money from the wrong people. At first, it was small, just to cover some debts. But it grew. They didn't care about the reason, only that I delivered. Delivered what? I demanded. Daniel hesitated. His eyes flicked to Lena. She nodded slightly. Cash. Packages. Sometimes information, he admitted. Things that could hurt people if they fell into the wrong hands. I felt my stomach turn. People? Daniel, were these people innocent? Mostly, he said quickly. Mostly. I tried to avoid anyone getting hurt. But sometimes, he swallowed hard. Sometimes things went wrong. Claire's hands flew to her face. Wrong? Daniel, you've ruined everything. Our lives, Emily's wedding, my family. I felt tears stream down my face. And you thought hiding it from us would help? Yes, he whispered. I thought I could handle it alone. I thought if I bore the burden, no one else would suffer. Lena leaned forward. That's the flaw. The arrogance of thinking you can protect everyone by yourself. You can't. No one can. I closed my eyes. My head was spinning. You've been living two lives, I said quietly. One with us and one with them. Daniel nodded. I never wanted anyone to find out. Not Emily. Not Claire. Not you. Not even me? I asked, voice trembling. I wanted to tell you, he said. So many times. But the wrong move, one mistake. And everyone I love would have been in danger. I felt a mix of relief and horror. Relief, because some of it wasn't betrayal in the usual sense. Horror, because the depth of his involvement was worse than I imagined. Lena spoke again. The problem is, Nana and May, secrets don't stay hidden forever. And now the people who were waiting for him to slip up, they know we're all involved. My hand shook. What does that mean? Daniel rubbed his face. It means we're not safe. Not tonight. Not tomorrow. They know where we live, where we work, where Emily goes to school. Claire's face went pale. What about the police? Why haven't we called the police? They can't help, Lena said flatly. These people, they don't play by rules. They're everywhere. Everywhere you look. My heart pounded. Then what do we do? Daniel's eyes met mine. Desperate. We survive. That's all we can do for now. I gritted my teeth. We survive how? Lena's eyes glimmered. By knowing the truth. By preparing for what comes next. My chest tightened. I realized this was no longer just about betrayal, lies, or family drama. This was a battle. A storm. And our family was standing right in its center, exposed. A knock echoed through the house. Loud. Sharp. Deliberate. We froze. Not again, Daniel whispered. The shadows in the hall stretched. The darkness pressed against the windows. And I knew the hidden truths weren't done revealing themselves. That night, my heart broke in ways I didn't know were possible. The knock echoed again. Slow. Heavy. Certain. Each sound felt like it was striking my chest instead of the door. Daniel stood frozen. Claire grabbed the back of the chair like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Lena's face went pale for the first time since I'd met her. I moved before anyone could stop me. No, Daniel whispered urgently. Mama, don't. But I was already walking. Each step felt like I was wading through water. Thick, heavy, unforgiving. I opened the door. No one stood there. Just darkness. Rain slicked the porch. The street light flickered. Wind moved the trees like restless shadows. I stared, heart pounding. Who's there? I called. Silence. Then a voice came from the side. Mrs. May. I screamed. A man stepped into the light. Younger than the others. Sharp suit. Clean shoes. A smile that didn't reach his eyes. I was hoping you'd answer, he said softly. My legs trembled. What do you want? I demanded. He glanced past me into the house. We want to make sure your son understands something. Daniel appeared behind me. You shouldn't be here, he said. His voice shook. The man smiled wider. You didn't think one conversation was enough, did you? Claire shouted from the living room. Daniel, close the door. But it was too late. The man stepped inside, uninvited, confident. This is a private home, I said, my voice breaking. You can't just. I can, he replied calmly, because your son invited us into his life a long time ago. Daniel's fists clenched. You said you'd give me time, he snapped. The man tilted his head. We gave you patience. You gave us embarrassment. My stomach dropped. Embarrassment. I whispered. The wedding, he said simply. Public scenes are bad for business. Claire gasped. You were there. The man's eyes flicked to her. Of course. I felt dizzy. You were watching my granddaughter's wedding. I asked. He nodded slightly. We watch everything that matters. I could see the anger in Daniel's eyes now. Raw. Burning. I told you to leave them out of this, Daniel said. You told us many things, the man replied. You kept few promises. Lena stepped forward. If you're here to threaten them, you're crossing the line. The man laughed softly. Oh, Lena. You crossed that line the moment you decided to stay. Claire's voice cracked. Daniel, who are these people? Daniel turned to her. Tears filled his eyes. I tried to protect you. By lying, she shouted. By risking our children? I watched them. My son, my daughter-in-law, breaking apart in front of me. My chest burned. Enough, I said. Everyone turned to me. The man raised an eyebrow. Enough. You've made your point, I said. You've frightened us. You've humiliated us. What else do you want? He studied me, then smiled. You, he said. My heart stopped. Me, I whispered. We need someone trustworthy, he continued. Someone who looks harmless. Someone no one would suspect. Daniel shouted, no. I felt cold all over. You will not use my mother, Daniel growled. The man's smile vanished. You don't get to say no anymore. Claire screamed, this is insane. The man leaned closer to me. Mrs. May, you raised a man who owes us. And debts are family matters. Tears streamed down my face. I'm 74 years old, I said. I've done nothing wrong. Exactly, he replied. That's why you're perfect. Daniel fell to his knees. Mama, I'm so sorry. I felt my heart shatter. I looked at my son, and for the first time I saw a child again. Broken, terrified, regretful. You promised you'd keep us safe, I whispered. I failed, he sobbed. The man checked his watch. You have 48 hours, he said. Then we'll talk about what Mrs. May will do for us. He turned and walked toward the door. But if you call the police, he added without looking back, Emily won't make it to school. I screamed. The door closed. Silence crashed over us. Claire collapsed into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. Lena stared at the floor. They're serious, she whispered. Daniel crawled to me, clutched my hands. Mama, I'll fix this, he said desperately. I swear. I pulled my hands away. I spent my life protecting you, I said softly. And now you've handed me to monsters. He cried harder. I went to my room and locked the door. I slid down the wall. My chest hurt. My mind raced. Fear, anger, love, shame, all tangled together. I stared at my reflection in the mirror. An old woman, wrinkled hands, tired eyes, and now, a bargaining chip. I whispered to myself, I won't let them win. But even as I said it, I didn't know how to survive what was coming. Confessions don't heal wounds, they rip them open and force you to look inside. Morning came without mercy. The sun rose like nothing had happened. Birds sang. Cars passed. Life moved on. But inside our house, time had stopped. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my hands. They looked smaller today, older, as if the night had drained something from me. Claire hadn't slept. Her eyes were swollen, red, empty. Daniel stood at the sink, unmoving, like a man carved from regret. Lena leaned against the doorway, arms folded, watching all of us. Silent, guarded. No one spoke. So I did. They gave us 48 hours, I said quietly. Daniel flinched. Yes, he whispered. And after that? I asked. Silence. That's what I thought. I stood up slowly. My knees protested, but I ignored the pain. You're going to tell me everything, I said. Every lie, every secret, every risk. I won't protect you from the truth anymore. Daniel turned. Tears filled his eyes. Mama, some things. Now I shouted. My voice shocked even me. He swallowed. It started with debt, he said. But it became leverage. They wanted access, routes, names, information. Claire's hands trembled. You used our life as camouflage. Yes, he said, broken. I hid behind birthdays, holidays, weddings. My chest burned. And Lena? I asked. Lena straightened. I was the exit plan. Claire laughed bitterly. You were sleeping with him. Yes, Lena said calmly. But not the way you think. Daniel looked at her sharply. Don't, he warned. No, she said. It's time. She turned to me. He was going to disappear, she said. Fake documents. New identities. He wanted to take the children eventually. Claire screamed. You were going to kidnap my children? No, Daniel shouted. I was saving them. From what? Claire cried. From you. I could see the anger in her eyes. Pure. Deserved. You were going to leave me, she said quietly, and take my babies. Daniel collapsed into a chair. I didn't know how else to protect them. I slapped the table. You don't destroy a family to save it. The room fell silent. Then Lena spoke again. There's something else, she said. My heart sank. There's always something else, I whispered. She hesitated. For the first time, she looked afraid. They didn't choose you randomly, Nana May. Daniel's head snapped up. What do you mean? I asked. Lena took a breath. They know about your past. The room spun. My past? Daniel stood abruptly. No, he said. You promised. I stared at him. Daniel, I said slowly. What do they know about me? He shook his head. Nothing, he whispered. Nothing that matters. Lena's eyes met mine. They know you weren't always Nana May, she said. My heart stopped. Claire looked between us. What is she talking about? My mouth went dry. Nana, Daniel whispered. Please. I sat down. My legs gave out. You told me you were a school teacher, Claire said. You raised the kids. You baked pies. You volunteered at church. All true, and not the whole truth. They know about the fire, Lena continued softly. Daniel shouted, Stop! Fire! That word burned through me. I closed my eyes. 40 years vanished. Smoke. Sirens. Screams. Fire. Claire repeated, What fire? I opened my eyes, and for the first time in decades, I spoke the truth. My name wasn't always May, I said. Daniel sobbed. I changed it. Claire whispered, Why? Because I survived something, I said. Something that killed people. The room went deathly still. I was younger, I continued. I worked nights. I cleaned offices. One night, a building caught fire. My voice shook. I got out. I swallowed. Others didn't. Claire covered her mouth. They said it wasn't my fault, I said. But guilt doesn't listen to reason. Lena nodded. And you testified. Daniel looked at the floor. Yes, I said. I testified against men who cut corners, who paid bribes, who let people die. My heart pounded. They went to prison, I said. Some of them. Claire whispered, and the rest? I disappeared, I said. I changed my name. My life. I raised my son quietly. Daniel cried openly now. They found it, Lena said. Your testimony. Your real name. Your courage. I laughed softly. Courage, I said. Or survival. Claire stared at me with new eyes. You were a whistleblower, she said. Yes, I replied. Daniel knelt in front of me. Mama, I didn't know they'd use you. I placed my hand on his head. They don't want me because I'm weak, I said. They want me because I'm strong. The room felt heavy with realization. They think I'll cooperate, I continued, because I did before. Lena nodded. They think you'll choose your family over yourself. I looked at all of them. My son, my daughter-in-law, my family. I already did, I said. Silence. Then Claire whispered, What are you going to do? I stood up. My back straightened. My fears settled. I'm going to confront them, I said. On my terms. Daniel screamed, and oh. I turned to him. I won't run again. My heart raced, because deep down, I knew this truth would either save us all, or destroy everything. I thought I had outrun the fire once, but flames have a memory. The house felt different after my confession. Quieter. Heavier. Like every wall had ears now. Daniel followed me into the kitchen, his footsteps soft, careful. The boy who once ran to me with scraped knees now looked like a stranger afraid to speak. Mama, he whispered, you can't do this. I didn't turn around. I poured tea with steady hands. The kettle whistled. Steam rose. Ordinary sounds in an extraordinary moment. I already have, I said. Claire stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself. You don't owe us this, she said quietly. Whatever Daniel did, it's not your burden. I finally faced her. Her eyes were red. Tired. Still kind. When you marry into a family, I said softly, you inherit its sins and its courage. Daniel slammed his fist on the table. This is my fault, he shouted. Not yours. Not hers. Yes, I said calmly. It is your fault. And that's why I'm doing this. Silence fell. Lena leaned against the wall, watching me like someone watching a storm roll in. They won't negotiate, she said. You know that. They negotiated once, I replied. They just didn't know it. Daniel looked at me sharply. What do you mean? I took a breath. When I testified all those years ago, I said I didn't just speak in court. I made copies, records. Names. Accounts. Lena's eyes widened. You kept evidence. I buried it, I said. Insurance. Against the future. Daniel's face drained of color. Mama, you never told me. I hoped I'd never need to, I said. Claire whispered, You're planning to blackmail them. I shook my head. No, I said. I'm planning to remind them. Daniel grabbed my arm. They're not the same men, he said urgently. These are worse. I met his eyes. So am I replied. That night I didn't sleep. I wrote letters. One to Emily. One to each grandchild. Not goodbye letters. Just truth. I tucked them into my bag alongside an old USB drive wrapped in cloth. The past waiting. The phone buzzed at dawn. A single message. Tonight. Come alone. The address followed. Claire cried when she saw it. Daniel dropped to his knees again. I won't let you go, he begged. You already did, I said gently. Lena offered to come. They'll kill you if you do, I said. She nodded, jaw tight. I'll be nearby, she said. Just in case. I dressed simply. No jewelry. No fear on my face. Before I left, Daniel hugged me tightly. I'm sorry, he whispered. For everything. I kissed his forehead. I know, I said. The warehouse stood at the edge of the city. Cold. Empty. Waiting. Inside, the men sat at a table like kings without crowns. The same calm smiles. Mrs. May, the first man said. You came. I always do, I replied. They gestured for me to sit. You understand why you're here, he said. Yes, I said. And you understand why I kept records. The smile vanished. I placed the USB drive on the table. Names, I said. Accounts. Connections. Old and new. Silence. The second man leaned forward. You wouldn't dare. I smiled. I already did once. The first man studied me. You'd destroy your son. No, I said. I'd save him. You'd destroy yourselves. The tension was thick. Sweat beaded on my back. Finally, the first man leaned back. You're asking for peace. I'm offering it, I corrected. They exchanged glances. This isn't over, he said. It never is, I replied. I stood. As I reached the door, he spoke again. You're braver than your son. I paused. I taught him that, I said. I walked out. Alive. But not safe. Some endings are only doors to new horrors. The message flashed on my phone. You survived tonight. Tomorrow we take everything. My hand shook. Not with fear. Not entirely. With fury. I stared at the city skyline, lights twinkling innocently. Life went on outside. Oblivious. But our lives were already over. Daniel and Claire waited in the car, tense. Lena beside me, calm as ever. They're testing you, she said. They want to see if you break. I won't, I said, voice low. Not this time. We drove in silence. Every turn, every stoplight felt like a countdown. I thought about Emily, about my grandchildren, about the wedding, the confrontations, the betrayals. And I realized something. This wasn't just about survival. This was about legacy. If I failed, everything I had built, my family, their safety, my name, would vanish. When we arrived at the abandoned warehouse district, the air smelled of oil and decay. Shadows danced across the walls. Every corner seemed to hide eyes. I stepped out of the car first. Stay close, I whispered. We moved carefully. Every step a test. Inside, the same figures waited. Calm. Predatory. Mrs. May, the first man said. You have our attention. I hope you're listening, I said, voice steady. Because I'm done hiding. He leaned forward. And what are you willing to do? I placed the USB drive on the table again. Expose you, I said. Every lie. Every illegal transaction. Every move you've made since the fire. The room went silent. Even Lena beside me tensed. You can't, the second man said, voice cold. We're untouchable. You're not, I said, because you made one mistake. You underestimated me. Daniel stepped forward. Mama. I raised him, I said, cutting him off. I know exactly who he is, and who he's not. Don't speak for me. The first man smiled thinly. Brave words, but bravery can't save you. I leaned forward, voice sharp. It can if it's backed by truth. A sharp noise, like a gun cocking, made my stomach drop. The second man held up a pistol. Calm. Calculated. Drop it, Lena said, voice cold. Don't, I said, slowly reaching into my coat. Not for a weapon. For a small, hidden recorder. This conversation is being documented, I said clearly. Every threat. Every illegal act. Everything you say. The men exchanged glances. You think this matters, the first man said. I smiled. It does. To the right people. People who never forget. Daniel stepped closer. Mama, stop. No, I said. This is my fight too. The second man laughed. You're playing a dangerous game, old lady. I'm not playing, I said. I'm surviving. Lena moved behind me, hands ready, a quiet predator. For a moment, nothing moved. The air thick with tension. Then a loud crash from the back of the warehouse. All three men spun around. We didn't wait. I grabbed Daniel's hand. Claire's followed. Lena stayed close. We ran. Through dark corridors. Steel clanged. Shadows chased us. And then the unthinkable. A figure stepped out of the darkness. Familiar. Emily. My granddaughter. Her face pale. Terrified. Mama, she cried. They have Mom. They took her. The blood drained from my face. Who? I demanded. Don't know. They said if I tried to follow, they'd. Lena grabbed my shoulders. We have to go. Now. We fled. Out into the cold night. Into the unknown. I realized then that the danger wasn't over. It had escalated. The betrayal, the lies, the threats, they were only the beginning. And one truth became crystal clear. We were not just fighting for survival anymore. We were fighting to protect every soul we loved from monsters we had barely begun to understand.